Pretty Little Liars, a television series, sometimes deals with disturbing and problematic topics. We provided a list of content warnings in the episode description. Hello and welcome to Dead Ends. I'm Emily.
I'm Brenton.
And we have two time-jumped new episodes of Pretty Little Liars.
Yeah, I couldn't have predicted. My predictions were mostly wrong, minus a few things, but I couldn't have predicted where this would, where everybody ended up.
We did play a little game because I was like, okay, Brenton, like last time I was like, oh, Aria dates someone in the time gap.
Oh, yeah.
And it took Brenton, because it's not the person she's dating when it opens. It's like it's a history thing, and we haven't gotten to it yet in the episode, so we can save the name if you don't want the spoilers.
Yeah, we'll save.
But it took him a very long time to get it.
It's so obvious. Like I should have known.
Obvious.
I should have known.
I was like, oh, he's gonna get that so fast. Like I almost gave him too many hints, and then it's like the next day, and he's still guessing, and I'm like, shit.
If I knew who it was and I was listening to the last episode, I'd be screaming the name the entire time.
I literally was sitting here like twiddling my thumbs, like I'm waiting for you to say it because I'm like, duh.
It's so obvious.
But it's okay.
And yeah.
I didn't get the riddle in Akatar, so everybody's got
their skills,
Everyone's got their skills.
But I could not figure that out. It's just like, I don't know who in the hell. I'm forgetting someone. Oh boy, was I.
I was like, they were mentioned in the last episode and in the episodes we watched this week. And Brenton's like,
I don't know. To be fair, they're not like featured that strongly.
Yeah, but their name comes up a lot.
Uh-huh.
Their name dropped.
And
they're not there. That would have given it away if I'd been they weren't there, but they're mentioned. I think I might have told you. I don't know. But it doesn't matter.
This is like, so there's...
It's like when you tell someone not to think about something and it's all they can think about. It was like the inverse for you.
Well, so there... I listened to a more civilized age Star Wars podcast. They're watching Rebels right now, and there's a character on there that we don't know their last name. And apparently, if you know their last name and you know Star Wars, you would kind of like you would get it. But apparently, so they're all on the podcast being like, yeah, like we don't know, and I'm with them. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It hasn't come up yet. And there's people in a Discord I'm in that are like, it has come up a few times on the show. They've said it on the podcast, and I'm like, I don't know.
I think it's funny
to like same spot.
How different people's brains work and like pattern recognition. And like, even if you have good pattern recognition, sometimes there's certain patterns you just can't fucking see.
Mm-hmm.
And like, to me, I think romantic pairings like stick with me, like couples stick with me. Cause I'm like, that worked or that didn't, or I wish there'd been more of that, or I wish there'd been less of that, or I wish that'd gone differently. And then like other details, I'm like, red coat, black hoodie, who cares?
I mean, especially that, like that gets hairy quick. I really should have gotten this. Like, oh, there we go. I really should have gotten this immediately.
Also, for those of you following along at home and who know what we have now found out in these episodes, Brenton, how do you feel about Spaleb?
The vibes are off from the jump. I was genuinely shocked that they broke up Caleb. Like, genuinely, like,
imagine,
I would have never guessed that.
Imagine my reaction watching this at that time, because I'm like, you know what? Screw Spoby. Like, Toby did weird shit, and then I'm like, oh, they redeemed him. They made him better at the end. He's like, they don't need me as a cop, and you're like, yes, quit the force, quit the force.
Uh-huh.
Doesn't fucking quit the force.
He doesn't quit the force.
But then you're like, oh, Spencer gets in. What if she dated a politician? That'd be fun. Like anyone, really.
Seemed like that was my guess. Except I didn't put politics. I put like high class businesswoman, and she's like, shaking it up. No, she's with Caleb, and they met in
Barcelona.
Madrid.
Madrid. Oh, sorry, I was in Spain.
I also wanted to do that, and I was like, that's not right. As much as I'd love to do the Barcelona.
Yeah, they saw each other.
I don't know. No, they're friends, and it's like, should you really be kissing each other?
Well, I don't think they have been kissing each other yet.
I think kissing each other. And they spent like a lovely weekend in Madrid and have been dating.
I don't think they're actually dating yet.
They're not actually dating?
I don't know. I can't tell because they don't kiss in front of us.
No, but wait. I thought they at least kissed once.
I don't think so. We can, as we go through the recap, you would have written it down if they did.
Yeah, probably. I thought they. Not to bring it back to Star Wars, but this is like one of those things where they like you realize that they apparently never say.
Luke, I'm your father.
No, that's just different. What is it? They never say Sith in the original series, and it's like we're so programmed to like hear that now, and it's like bananas. So it's just like wait, but that didn't happen. I could have sworn that happened.
Why is Caleb sleeping on the couch if they're dating?
Being very chaste. I just assumed they didn't want to be like out and about with their business.
Inside the barn? Privately?
Yeah. And that was the show communicating like, oh, Yeah. Damn. They're not together? Okay.
Yet, officially. I don't know. We'll find out.
The vibes are that they are together.
Yeah.
And the vibes are off because then I should be like, because as I'm saying, you shouldn't be together because you're acting like friends.
But they are friends.
Right. And
but they're flirty
I'm just
friends.
saying you are friends, but then like Caleb is acting like your boyfriend. Oh, Spencer, we should do that. Like he's doing like the sorts of things of like, let me get that for you. Let me help. Oh, Spencer, what are we doing?
Yeah, what do you do when you try to like win over a girl like that? I mean, that's what you did. You'd take me places. You'd buy me food.
Well, that's true. But I mean, like just the way they're communicating is just like, oh yes, we're doing this together and we're doing this together. Okay, so that makes a lot more sense why like...
It seems awkward.
Well, no, well, not between them. I was just like, oh, they seem like they've been going out for a few years. That's what I'd guessed.
Oh.
Because they seem comfortable with each other.
It's just, they just see each other a lot. They're just friends. But they're like, they want to be more than friends.
When did they see each other in Madrid? How long ago? It seems like they've been dating for like multiple years and they're very comfortable. So that's when it's like Caleb is doing something for like a boyfriend would do like years into a relationship of just like, oh yeah, let me get that for you. Or like, hey, Spencer, we got to do this today. And I guess it makes sense why like I was like, this is so weird around Hannah.
Well, Hannah doesn't know. And they were asking Spencer about the last person she dated. It's like.
I assumed they hooked up in Madrid and that's what it was.
Maybe they did, but then we'll find out, I guess. I don't remember if they've hooked up already, but
okay,
if
they have not, if they're not actually dating yet, why? Okay. I know I said like I did like they shouldn't be together, but like because they had this like romantic excursion together and met each other, romantic moment.
When we met in Vegas, we didn't hook up.
That's true. That's true.
But
like, then when we like hung out again,
history against you.
Yeah, but if they've been hanging out,
yeah, but we spent an entire weekend together.
Yeah, but they spent like weeks in the time seeing each other. I don't know. I guess not.
Don't you remember being 22? 23, I guess here.
Yeah, fair enough.
I get really sad that we just skipped college with them.
Right, because, we don't get their.
To me, like that's where it's like you got Emily who's like floundering, you got Aria who's like finally getting to like live her life and be artsy, you got Hannah who's like doing her designer shit, and you get Spencer like on her way to Girl Boss Town.
Right.
And I just think it'd be fun to I mean, and we'll get flashbacks of those.
That's what we call DC, by the way.
Girl Boss Town. There are not enough girl bosses in DC.
This is a world that presupposes
our political system is ran by women.
I mean, you have Mona and Spencer there. That's Girl Boss City.
Yeah, but also, and we can talk about this more. Like, I have a question about it, but it gives us the idea that if Spencer is working on progressive policy, is Mona working for the Republicans?
It seems like it.
I have questions.
I know.
I feel uncomfortable. Not my Mona.
I know. I don't want Mona doing that.
My other thought was maybe it's more like centrist Democrat policies. Like, you know how like we always like attack, I say we as in the party, not me personally, but like they attack the far left. You know what I mean? It's like, oh,
she sees someone talking about the Green New Deal and she gets her back.
I support the Green New Deal. Don't you put that on the internet about me. I was more liberal than you when we met.
100% true.
But anyway, not the point. I maybe she's a more like centrist or like more like
I could see that
the old school, and
right.
Spencer's out here pushing things, changing it up.
Right. Yeah. Mona's rubbing elbows with Pelosi.
Exactly. You guys have to think of when this was though too.
This was 20. Oh my God, when was this? 2015?
20 is coming into 2016.
The beginning of 2016.
Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah. Where are you?
Mona's
Where are
working
you
with
lobbying
Hillary
for,
Clinton.
Mona? This might tilt too far
It's a dangerous game.
onto the villain scale here.
That's how you lose, Mona.
Yeah, but maybe not lose, Mona, but we'd have to have a real talking to here. My problematic fave.
There's a line.
There is a line. Yeah. Oh God. Well, this also, all of us, us talking about all these changes and things is we don't know a lot still. Let's
No,
hold on to that hope.
we don't know a lot. So I don't think we ever get a confirmation of like what
Mona's actually doing.
which politician or like what she's lobbying for or whatever.
Right. We ready to get into the episodes then?
I am ready.
Season 6, Episode 11, 131, Of Late I Think of Rosewood. 5 years later, the camera pans around Rosewood as we hear old audio of the girls. We settle on a classroom as we see Allison is teaching and reading a passage from the book. She got too caught up in reading the book that the class ends, and the bell rings and everybody leaves except for someone who walks up. Allison calls him Dr. Rollins. That name sounds familiar. He says a judge set a date for the hearing and it'll happen in 4 days. Allison is excited by this, and Dr. Rollins says the court can compel her friends to come, but they might not be sympathetic to the cause. Allison says, "You don't know them like I do." Allison writes a letter to their friends, like literal letter, like she writes it, hand writes all the notes. "Dearest Aria, how was the front?" We see Spencer reading it.
She would be the one who'd go to war.
She's the Archie.
The Archie?
Yeah, remember when
From
Archie went to
Riverdale?
war?
Yeah.
But like he went to World War II.
It looks like they did a war scene at like a local park. That's okay then. They got hit by the comet and then the show went back to the 50s. And so Archie didn't go to war anymore.
There's enough things that like in abstract from Riverdale I find so exciting, but I would probably lose my mind doing a podcast about it.
I couldn't finish that last season.
Yeah.
But it comes up a lot. So maybe one day we will.
Maybe one day. Who knows? We see Spencer reading the letter in Washington, D.C. Aria finishes filming something at a bookstore. She picks up a book that's by Fitz that's sitting on like a display table. Hannah is flying on a plane, sitting next to a kid, but it's a fake out as the mom comes and picks up the child. I think they're in first class.
Yeah, someone left their baby next to Hannah in first class, so her seat was empty, actually.
Right, so Hannah's living the life. Emily is... Oh yeah, and they didn't upgrade anybody. That's a little rude.
Or maybe that person was in the bathroom.
Oh, that's true.
Or maybe it was,
But then the kid...
Yeah, the woman's like, oh, watch my kid.
Yeah, and then she went faster than the other person.
It was probably a man. Men
Right.
take forever.
Well, we do. And if they don't, then you should really be suspect about holding their hands.
I'll never forget the day you walked out of the bathroom at Disneyland and you said, I know why the other men are so fast. They don't wash their hands.
Just seeing hordes, men's leaving the urinal and just straight back out. Good Lord. No wonder your child is sick all the time. Emily is serving drinks at a tiki bar. Allison's letter details that they're coming back to Rosewood as... and the hearing is about Charlotte being released. We see Charlotte and Allison talk. Charlotte is concerned that they'll still be... I used CC last episode. Charlotte seems to be what we're going by now. I'll stick with it. I think textually, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but I don't know. Maybe we just don't see the Charlotte actually choosing her name. Charlotte is concerned that they'll still be mad, but Allison reassures her that it'll be okay. Spencer's back at Rosewood and sees a group of teenagers, much like themselves just a few scant years ago. Emily sits in the brew, popping pills on the sly. Hannah surprises her, and Spencer and Aria then follow in. Hannah works in fashion and has an engagement ring on her finger, and she's planning a wedding. Emily is supposedly still in college, faking to everybody at the Falk Institute, and Spencer's, I've heard so much about this place, blah, 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 and Emily tries to cover. Aria is supposedly dating a guy named Liam. Spencer's not seeing anyone. They also kept up with each other. There was no A shenanigans in the 5 years since Charlotte's arrest. Pam walks Emily into the house. Pam was seeing a guy named Greg, but isn't any longer. Wait, there's a banner in the window. Wayne is dead.
Okay.
Fly your flags at half-mast.
So,
especially the McDonald's ones.
Months ago, years, maybe a year, I don't remember what Wayne scene it was. It was early on our Wayne introduction. You go, oh my God, he's going to die. Like, Wayne's dead. And I'm like, no. And then I'm like, you kept guessing it. Like, every time Wayne had the heart attack, you're like, Wayne's going to die. And I'm like, not yet.
Just didn't renew his contract.
I think if you watch the videos, you can just kind of see me being like, I'm like a tick. I'm like, yeah, no, Wayne's still with us.
You know, Wayne had his problems, but he was probably the best empathetic parent.
Yeah.
But now he's dead off screen. And, well, no wonder Emily's destroyed by this. She's like, I'm just stuck with Pam now.
Yes, that's how everyone feels about their parents.
I know.
Though Pam did, she did not. She was not a great mother.
No, she wasn't. But rip to Wayne. We miss you already. Oh, speaking of parents, Radley's now a hotel called the Radley.
I was so excited for this. I was like, Brenton could not predict this. Like, you could wake up from a dream and be like, they're gonna, tattoo their faces, and I'd have been like, nope, it's even weirder.
Oh my God, it's so weird. And what a bold decision by Ashley, being like, you know what? We're gonna pave over where all this trauma happened. We're gonna put up a boutique hotel.
She makes like this beautiful hotel.
Oh yeah, it's fancy. And all the patients that used to be in Radley cannot afford to stay there.
Well, I mean, they'd closed Radley anyway.
Right, that's true.
It was gonna get blown up by Charlotte, but...
Right, that's fair. They had the demolition team in there anyway.
It was Sarah Harvey.
But then Ashley came in and was just like, hit the button. Let's start from scratch.
Could you imagine? Like, what an idea.
I would, if I was Hannah or any of the girls, I would not stay in that hotel.
Why?
It's built on the bones of Radley.
Uh-huh.
You don't know what kind of weird vibes you'd be picking up from it. I might have like flashbacks, like scary flashbacks about it.
That's true.
That's just me. They're much braver than I. Hannah and Ashley are out to lunch, and then we found out Ashley bought it and turned it into a hotel. Ashley was hoping that Hannah would bring Jordan, her fiance. Hannah says next time, and Ashley says, you don't owe Allison a thing regarding this Charlotte trial or hearing. Aria hands Byron a book from Liam, and Byron is flattered. Aria says she was at the brew with her friends, and Byron says, did you see Fitz? He's back and living in the apartment upstairs.
Toby's old apartment.
That, I never would have thought I said it. I'm most invested in what the hell is going on with this Fitz plotline.
This is another thing, and like even now with the information you have, you could not guess the twists and turns that we will go on together.
I'm very excited.
Can we pause really quick?
All right, we'll be continuing here. We took a little pause, and we grabbed a snack. Aria hands Byron... Oh, wait, we already did that. Okay. Byron says, did you see Fitz? He's back and living in the apartment upstairs of the brew. He got sick in South America. Apparently shit went bad and something happened to Nicole. There's 15 dead or missing. Okay, we'll come back around. We'll come back around to this. Aria never heard back from Fitz when she wrote to him following what happened. Veronica's running for state senate. She's still with Peter, who's campaigning and raising money for her. Veronica says Spencer works for a lobbyist, but Spencer's like, I work with grassroots progressive organizations to advance their agendas. Aria goes to the brew and sees Fitz come downstairs, and he's shocked to see her. They catch up. He says, your bosses are angry with me. They gave me an advance on the second book. Fitz says, I don't understand what happened down there. Just a sweet girl getting dragged off by half-baked revolutionaries. Gotta flag that. You go somewhere to help. It shouldn't cost you your life. You probably shouldn't have been there. Spencer goes to see Toby, who's sawing wood. Is the carpenter we know and love back? No. Toby and Caleb apparently talk to each other now and again, and Toby calls them the Brotherhood of Ex-Boyfriends, and Spencer then looks awkward about this. I wonder why. She mentions coming back, and Toby is ruffled they came back because of Allison. Toby offers to buy Spencer dinner before she leaves, and she agrees. Spencer asks who he's building the house for, and Toby says, "What makes you think I'm building it for someone?" And Spencer says, "Because I know you." Allie makes the pitch to all the friends at how well Charlotte is doing. The judge wants to hear statements of support at the hearing tomorrow, like the friends are not afraid of her anymore. They all look mad by this. Allison says, "You heard her story. There's no reason to be afraid of her." The friends only have negative reactions to this. Allie then says Mona wants to speak to the judge about the dollhouse. Sarah can't testify because of how her charges were resolved. Jason apparently doesn't agree with the therapist and Allison on letting Charlotte out. Allison says, "Just say positive statements so I can have a family again." But the friends all stonewall Allison. Veronica gives a speech to a crowd outside of the police station. The friends are all gathered to watch. Spencer says, "We can just say we're not afraid and get the hell out of here." Aria wonders if they aren't afraid anymore, and Hannah's like, "Yes, we won." Spencer runs over to get ready to join her mom on stage as Mona stops her. Mona is also a lobbyist, but seems to be opposing Spencer. Question mark, question mark, question mark on what that is. Mona asks if she still has nightmares, and Spencer remains silent. Toby and Emily catch up over beers. Sorry, I accidentally scrolled down. Catch up over beers. He says Spencer and I got out of sync. Everything about this town reminded her of something bad. Well, fair enough. Toby got his degree, but got passed over for a promotion. Emily had a hard time with college, and when her dad died, she lost all motivation. It's the hearing. Allison gives a passionate speech about bringing Charlotte home. Spencer, Hannah, and Emily all give positive talks about moving on from Charlotte's attack. Aria is interrupted by Fitz showing up, and then the judge reminds her that Aria needs to tell her she feels safe if Charlotte goes free. And Aria says, "No, I don't," and relays having been triggered like a panic attack moment where she was on a train. Mona is then next and crumbles up her speech and says she listened to the friends saying positive things about Charlotte, says she can't hate her, and that Radley twisted her and says let her out. Spencer and Emily have drinks at the Radley and feel weird about Charlotte getting let out. Emily was worried that Sarah would show up and say, "Want to know what these girls are really like? I'll show you what they did to me." Question mark, question mark, question mark on this. They get a text that Charlotte is released. Aria and... sorry, I messed up on the notes there. They talk about how weird it was giving positive statements, and then they get the text. Aria and Hannah come up, and Hannah calls Aria the most honest girl in town. Hannah then encourages them all to turn off their phones and just have a night together. Allison gets the house ready excitedly as she hears a car pull up. The friends are many drinks deep at the Radley and plan on getting out of Rosewood and out of the country, but having a great time together. At the end of the night, Spencer says, "I thought it wouldn't matter what we said to the judge because they wouldn't let her out, and we'd lie one more time for Allison." Aria says it would be a cosmic joke if Charlotte can live happily ever after. And Emily says if she can, so can we. They toast to Charlotte, and we get an ominous zoom in on the ceiling camera. The next morning, everybody's passed out in Hannah's suite as she comes back with ice. Spencer tells Hannah about seeing Toby and says, "All I got was a chair and some lucky girl's going to get an entire house." Allie calls Hannah and Emily accidentally knocks over her purse, and we see inside she has lots of prescription drugs and needles. No one sees her clean this up, though. Turns out that Charlotte was at Allison's last night but isn't there this morning. Hannah encourages her to call the police. We see flower petals in the grass and someone's hand holding a bud. Lorenzo and Toby are still cops, we see, unfortunately, but Lorenzo is wearing a suit while Toby's in a standard uniform, so he must have gotten promoted. The body was found this morning, but they were dead between 3 a.m. and 4. Turns out it's Charlotte's body. The body was outside the church, and we see the top shutter on the steeple is open. Wow, so worth it to throw this trans plot line in there. Allie's sad in bed as Dr. Rollins encourages Emily to stay with her until she falls asleep. Dr. Rollins says if I knew she would kill herself, I never would have gotten her released. Hannah opens her door to Caleb. Spencer called him and told him what happened. He's working for her... Caleb is working for Spencer's group, and so they've kept up. Hannah says... lets him in, but asks why he's here. He says he heard about Charlotte and just had a reflex to come help. Hannah feels bad that their words let Charlotte get out to harm herself. Caleb is staying in Spencer's barn. Suspicious. They awkwardly catch up, and Caleb goes to show himself out. Hannah stops him and asks why he didn't call her before he came over. He says, "I didn't think you'd let me in." Hannah says, "We're still friends, aren't we?" And he says, "Yes, of course we are." Caleb enters the lobby, and Spencer walks over and asks him how it went and tells him she's glad he's here, and they leave together. At Charlotte's funeral, everyone is in attendance as Sarah comes in wearing a black veil. and a man escorting her. The friends are all pissed she's there. After the funeral, the friends wait outside. As Sarah leaves, the friends wonder if Sarah's there to make sure Charlotte is dead, just like she did for Wilden. Lorenzo stops the friends and asks them to stay in Rosewood. Charlotte was dead when she was thrown from the bell tower, and that they'll all get a call. We see that someone watches the friends from a black car.
Ooh.
Spooky.
Okay, if you were the girls, would you show up to speak to release Charlotte?
Probably not. No.
I don't even know if I would have come.
Mm-mm. Like, she put you through hell and back. So, no. I probably wouldn't.
Why do we think Mona changed her mind?
I do think Mona... Well, we could get that there's like an ulterior motive thing going here, but I think this aligns with what a functioning like rehabilitation system is supposed to be, not like prison where we lock away and make them slaves and work for things and then people get let out. That Mona is at least voicing the dehumanization of being locked up, and especially because she goes through what would that actually be called? I can't remember the word is, but like when you're going specifically like a hospital, like a mental institution like that. Either way, the dehumanization of being like locked up and forced where you don't have your autonomy and things, like the way we set up prisons and asylums and mental hospitals in that way. That it is like a horrible experience to go through, and it's some of the worst things that we do to humans. And I think, I think it's good, even if we may get some other shoe drop, but voicing that she understands what it's like to go through things. And if Charlotte is successfully rehabilitated, then she should be let out, like, since she's heard her time, because she's been through Radley and she was there all alive. So she understands, which, our carceral system does the feedback loop of then even if you go through it for a low level offense, you're no longer employable. So then what are you supposed to do? And it's, it's a big messy topic, but
so then how does that align with Mona potentially being conservative?
Well, I guess we'll find out.
Which is really interesting.
You would think it wouldn't at all. Because she'd be
it
like...
It doesn't line up.
Right.
I don't think they ever explain Mona's politics.
Yeah, she would be going back... Yeah, right.
I don't think they're like, oh, she's working for Mitt Romney. You know
Who did you vote for in 2016, Mona? Let's see the receipts. I don't... Maybe... I don't know if do libertarians believe in prisons?
I don't know.
Because it'd be less government and things. Well, maybe they would just think of private prisons. I actually don't know what libertarians think of prison.
Me neither. I've never looked into it because, not really my niche interest. I mean, I think learning about the prison industrial... Yeah, that's literally what I meant. Like, the prison industrial complex is important, but libertarians' take on it doesn't really impact me on a day-to-day basis.
No. Yeah. I don't really know what the modern thought on that is.
Would you buy Radley and turn it into a boutique hotel?
No. That's like a recipe for just like a haunting. Something bad. That's just too much shit happened there that I can't in good conscience have people pay very high money to stay there. Ooh, how fun. We're staying at this very nice fancy hotel on the site of a mental hospital.
I don't know because I've never attended a hearing like that. You know what I mean? But do you not find it odd that it was like a group hearing where they talked to a judge instead of like a one-on-one conversation with a judge? Like when my parents were getting divorced and we had to talk to a judge about custody, they met with David and I privately.
Oh,
they did not put us on the stand. You know what I mean? In
front of other people, yeah.
Or even that wasn't really a courtroom. It was just a small room where the judge. But even then, we were separated and we were asked our opinions and stuff.
Got it. Yeah.
Then he proceeded to ignore us, but.
Well,
he had a brain tumor and we didn't know.
Oh, right. I remember you telling me
My parents' divorce was the strangest. Anyway, not the point though. This is about Charlotte. Is it not odd to me that they're talking to they have to listen to each other's testimonies?
Yeah, testimonies like that.
And and Allison gets to be there while they say it?
Yeah, I guess you're right. I don't know.
I don't know how that works. That could be a very normal thing. I'm not a lawyer. or a judge or.
Yeah, I wouldn't know either. But if custody hearings and things like that would work that way, then I could see this working the same way, where it's like, okay, you may leave and send in Aria.
Yeah. Would you vote?
Because you could think that it would be influencing all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Would you vote for Veronica for state senator?
She's got a weird
State senator? No.
Yeah, state senator. Yeah. I feel like maybe. I mean, it is. I guess who's on the ballot? Is it like one of those things where it's like, well, you got the Republican or you got Veronica?
We don't know how she's changed since she got out of the basement.
But I'm thinking specifically. Well, that's true. We don't know. She could have had a complete change of heart. But there's a lot of skeletons in that closet. But she talks in her speech. She talks about how, I don't know, maybe this is directly addressing the Trump campaign or something. In a certain sense, she's like, this is a job big enough for the government. She's essentially being like, you should believe in your government to be able to do the things, which makes me think that she is Democrat. I just don't know. But then she talks down to Spencer working as a progressive lobbyist.
Yeah, doesn't that seem about on par?
Right. So, I mean, probably, because I'd assume the ballot for state senate would include some other chucklehead that's a Republican.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah. But yes, I found it very
Spencer's
funny.
willing to help her mom with her campaign, so it doesn't have to be at least a little bit aggressive.
I guess, but I don't know if Spencer would really draw those lines with family.
That's true.
But I did find Veronica's speech very funny. It's it builds the crescendo of this is a job big enough for the government to do. Essentially trust in your government to do this.
What?
And then she leaves in huge scandal when everybody finds out that Peter's had going-ons.
That's true. Okay, speaking of going-ons, what's happening with Ezra and Nicole and South America, which we later learned was Colombia, right?
Yes. They say Colombia.
And she was dragged off by revolutionaries, which is just racism.
So much racism. It's so much racism. And I'm fascinated by it. Because it's like, you brought this into your show?
Yeah. I was trying to think if that had anything to do with something happening at the time. I didn't look it up. I forgot to. But
2016.
Was there anything going on? We were all very it was an election year. Things were getting hairy. You know what I mean? It was a weird time.
I don't remember.
Closer was playing on the radio a lot. I don't know if that was then or if that was the next year. But
I think that was that year.
I think so too.
I don't remember anything specific because I mean, this is again going back to our Veronica Mars podcast. It's this isn't South America, but Africa. The big kind of environmental push or things around this was Coney 2012. So that was many years beforehand of children disappearing and things like that. And then you find out that he's not actually even in power. But I don't think there was anything specific happening with
Colombia.
Yeah, but what are those types of groups that do that? Or with aid groups going in and people going
missing.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
Which also, again, when I stand by saying earlier, probably shouldn't have been down there.
Yeah, why don't we help fund things that are already local instead of sending white people to try to fix other people's problems when we can't fix our own problems? Mm-hmm. What if we all worried about ourselves but also helped others, but not in that way?
Well, yeah.
And then maybe I don't know if how much good those organizations do.
Well, yeah, exactly. So they might be good. They say they build a house and stuff like that, and that does provide shelter and things, but it doesn't fix the infrastructure challenges that are around in these poor areas that they go to. And it's just paternalistic because we're talking now. It's we know how to fix it. So this is you come in and it's a way. My take on it is just a way to pat yourself on the back about how good you do. And make yourself feel better, and you get to come down and tell them I know how to do things. So yeah, my take is not it. But also, I don't think Colombia is the place you're going down either. I think that's a gross overstatement as well.
Yeah, it was a choice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty sure Colombia doesn't want you.
Who's Toby building the house for?
You would ask this too, and I was like, damn, who is Toby building the house for? Still pissed about Allison. So like out of the people that are still around in Rosewood, out of our main bunch, like it wouldn't be any of them. I wouldn't think that he'd be building a house for Allison. That doesn't make sense.
When it seems like it's someone he cares about, like, 'cause it's like, oh, you're building a house for someone.
Right, exactly. This would be, like Spencer said, lucky girl's getting a house.
Mm-hmm.
I got a chair. He got a truck, Don't forget that, Spencer. Damn, of course, my brain is at this limited capacity where I can't pull inside characters.
That's okay.
Every time I'm on the spot. I'll have to come around. But it did puzzle me. Oh, you know who it's actually for? Yeah. I knew it from the start. Lorenzo. That's Lorenzo's house.
But Lorenzo got the promotion and he didn't. You don't think that's going to cause some friction?
Yeah, but that's for them to figure out.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Lorenzo is a right dickhead in these.
What is all the medical shit in Emily's bag?
At first I was like diabetic, but because it could be like insulin shots or something. But then there was something about having to have treatments in the next episode, and I threw that right out the window. And I was like, oh, she's just trying to get pregnant. She's IVF.
But with who?
I don't know.
And does she have a partner?
No, she's just having a kid.
I mean, you can do that. I mean, I don't recommend it at 23.
Mm-hmm. But
it doesn't seem like her life is in a place where having a kid seems like the next move.
Right, working at the tiki bar. I don't know. I was like, she's sick, but I don't know with what. So it was very. I don't have enough to go on yet.
Oh, it's a journey. Buckle up, baby. And just when you think it's over, it'll circle back around.
Hi, everybody. Brenton in the edit. Just wanted to let you know that we get into spoilers around the next A reveal. If you want to avoid any spoilers, jump ahead to about 40:30 and you should be safe there. Or you can check the chapter notes to make sure you jump ahead. All right. Otherwise, back to the episode. All right. Interesting.
Who killed Charlotte?
That's a great question. Okay. The audience at home.
Honestly, when we got to the end of the show, I literally kept expecting them to be like, you're A, because you've been watching this the whole fucking time like a creeper. And I'm like, you're right. You're right.
You're right.
This needed to end a long time ago. I'm glad we can come to that conclusion now.
My best guess will be Sarah.
Okay.
Sarah Harvey for right now. Because I know I do know about the next A.
But you don't know their name.
No.
You don't know.
I don't know any of the background.
Yeah.
This is...
you simply know Spencer, and then you know that it's a twin.
We haven't brought this up in a long time. But just for a refresher, back whenever the finale aired, you showed me the finale, and you're like, oh my god, I can't believe this is happening, and explained what was going on. And then I promptly forgot everything that was happening in that scene, other than what the thing is happening, other than what the twist is.
Do you know who else is there when it's revealed? Do you remember?
Yes, I remember so I think Toby's there, but I don't know if I remember anybody else.
I was thinking of different. So when Spencer, when the person.
Oh, Spencer's there.
But who's there with Spencer?
I thought Toby, maybe.
Okay, so you don't know.
I really don't know.
That's even better because it's a choice.
Who's there?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a choice.
Yeah, I don't. Again, because I didn't know who any of these people were. I was just like, what is going on?
Well, some of us were saying the same thing, and we did know who these people were.
Fair enough. So, but I will not guess them.
But I will say, as we've been watching it now, I'm trying to watch for. Because I know some of the scenes that it was that other person.
Where you can layer, you can
figure
it out.
And so I'm watching it to see if I can actually tell. Mm-hmm. And you made the comment, the Toby and Spencer scene, it does seem like she kind of spoke funny. So I was like, you were like, oh, was that character? But then when the girls talk, it seems like it wasn't because Spencer's telling them the information she learned in that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was kind of fun because you were like, is that her? And I'm like, I didn't say that first line funny, but I don't know. But then I guess maybe could Spencer have learned that information through word of mouth and not actually been there and it's just a coincidence?
Is this giving too much away?
I don't think so. The
Okay.
people who are listening, I am sure. I mean, we've already done the spin said joke about 14 times, so
Okay.
I think it's okay. Because I think it'll be fun for you to try to like navigate that since you know the twist. It's like you trying to figure out which scene is which.
Right. Fair enough.
And trust me, the lore is the true gift.
Right. Yeah, of course. I think the background of that is going to be wild. So it could also be the new A that killed Charlotte.
Okay.
Which also, like, really? You just kill Charlotte? Thanks.
My turn.
Right. What a great thing to do. Okay, well, we introduced this trans character and she's going to be sticking around and she's dead. It just shows like how disposable the whole thing is.
Exactly. Well, and it was a poorly done plot line that then they were like, well, the people can't handle it. And it's like, no, you're just bad writers.
Yeah.
Like in this, I mean, I guess you could argue with the majority of the show, but in this domain,
I mean, yeah,
it's a good time.
There's a lot of good stuff in there, but yeah, in this, yeah. Really?
Okay. Dr. Rollins.
Mm-hmm.
Vibes. Thoughts? Feels.
Well, flashing forward seems like husband material. Allison's like, I got a doctor.
Well, okay, so that's Cece's doctor.
Yeah.
Is going to be Allison's husband.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that?
Feels a little weird, don't it?
It does, doesn't it?
Doesn't feel a little weird.
Also,
feels like a very Jessica move, and they've really just turned Allison into Jessica, haven't they?
You said it a while ago. They defanged Allison, and I think
yes.
I've read some good discourse. Like people have different opinions on why and whatnot, but it really does seem like they brought her back just to then like unempower her.
Yeah,
and it makes no fucking sense.
No, it sucks. It's the
worst.
way they go out of their way. It's like, okay, we want you to like this person now.
Mm-hmm.
So but that they just flatten them.
They don't make her likable. I have read some commentary online over the years, and someone recently brought it to my attention again, that the kind of like defanging and like making Allison this way was an act of like fat phobia, because the actress gained quite a bit of weight, quite a bit. I say in air quotes, that was the narrative at the time. I think she's struggling with PCOS. Also, it doesn't fucking matter. She was like a child when the show started, and then she became an adult woman, and your body changes. That's just how life happens.
Right.
And so it seemed like they couldn't allow the it girl to not be tiny. There's some narratives around that. I don't know. We were exceptionally, and we still are exceptionally fat phobic as a society.
And I can see that.
I don't know. But I thought that was a really interesting point, and I think that I could see that. I could see that being part of the why. They're like, oh, we have to soften her now.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, she can still be just as cunty.
Yeah.
Like, that shouldn't matter at all.
She should.
And they dress her poorly from this point onward. God. Like, once she gained a little bit of weight, they're like, oh, we don't know how to dress you. And I'm like,
yeah, you're going to dress like your mother.
Yeah, it's just awful.
Yeah.
It's a horrible thing to do to a very fun character.
Yeah, just boring. Because I feel like at least not likable, sympathetic.
Yes.
And then you're just kind of like, well, now you just completely flattened her. So there's no dimensions.
I always do the Catherine comparison, like having a monster from Vampire Diaries, like having a character that does monstrous things for a reason, even if it's just to protect and keep themselves safe, can be really relatable and really interesting and really fun to watch. And that doesn't mean that they're necessarily like someone you want to be friends with, but you can still like that character. They have likability.
Mona.
Exactly. But then in this case with her, they kind of just like, oh, we have to make her likable, so we're going to make her soft. Yeah. Kind of take away her personality.
Yeah.
Or make her, now she seems more like accusatory and like just like housewife mean, I guess is how I would phrase it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not, like, it doesn't work for the show.
No. It's much more passive.
All right. What happened with Sarah Harvey and the girls?
Oh my God, they burned another girl. Legitimately. They talk about it later. It's like something that happened to her hands because of the burns.
I was wondering if that was from the bomb.
But the bomb didn't go off.
But maybe she tried to put it back together. I don't know.
They said from the birds.
I don't remember.
Nothing happens with the bomb. Emily just pins her against the wall.
Yeah. And they break the bomb. But then I'm like, well,
What actually happened?
Yeah, I don't remember what happened. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't fucking remember at all.
It's like they learned nothing from the firework, from the Jenna thing, and then we're just like, we're gonna burn our hands.
I have one Sarah Harvey memory from this part onward. That's the only reason why I remember that she's in from this part onward. And when we get to it, I'll tell you it, because it's like her doing something like going somewhere, opening a door or something like that. But it's like a very visual memory for me, because I'm like, what the fuck? And then it's like, that's it.
That's so funny.
That's all I remember. I got nothing.
It definitely seems like they burned it's a new Jenna thing, but they're like less like scared to talk about it. It's like, yeah, we just like went after her this time. We made sure the firework hit her.
What happened to Caleb, do you think?
You know, Caleb's in there hitting his computers, and Hannah's off doing the fashion thing, and just didn't work out, you know?
That's it? It just didn't work out?
It just didn't work out.
Okay. No fight, no reason. There's
because
we get a Toby reason. It's like, oh, we grew up, you know, it's a PR answer, but
yeah.
It's like,
yeah, it was probably you were overbearing and being a cop. So.
We'll get the scenes that lead up to that. So you'll see what he did. That's what I want to say. But like what happened is actually the correct way to phrase that, because you know,
I bet he's just being overbearing. That's my take. Spencer, you can't do this. I need to be in charge. You can't. That's too dangerous. My Toby impression. That's what you sound like, Toby.
The catalyst for their like conversation and their breakup is very, very. I would never. You know what? You'll. When we get there, we get there.
Yeah. Hannah and Caleb. Yeah. Maybe they eventually, because they do mention something in the next episode, and I can't quite remember what it is right off the top of my head right now. But I could see it as a similar sort of thing of like Caleb wanting, like, being protective, or like wanting to talk about like things and feelings and trauma that she's been through, and Hannah being closed off, and eventually it just being like,
that's fair. Okay.
Probably a bigger incident.
All right. That's all I have for this one.
Okay. Season 6, episode 12, episode 132, Charlotte's Web. Wilbur. The friends gather at the...
Some pig, right? Isn't that from that?
No, that's from Babe.
Is it from Babe?
Oh, wait, no.
No, That'll Do Pig is from Babe. Some pig is from Charlotte's Web. Don't you come at me with my pig content. I watched Babe every fucking day like a weird little kid. Me and my grandpa, when there was nothing else on TV, before I had the Harry Potter VHS, we would put on Babe. Okay,
do you want to tell them about Herman getting yelled at?
One time we were walking Herman back when we lived in our old apartment, and we lived in a Bay Area suburban, but like formerly rural, and like as in like not within the last like 50, 60 years rural, but like formerly rural area that still had some like we technically were in the unincorporated part of the county. Like we weren't in the city, but we were in the city. I don't know, you know how it works. But so we didn't have a lot of sidewalks, basically. That's what happens when you're unincorporated. And so we were walking Herman in the neighborhood near our apartment complex. And people used to kind of like come by this road. I didn't really like walking down it because there's like a blind turn. But anyway, so we're walking by this towards our apartment, and someone rolled down their window. It was a guy. I could tell from the voice. I mean,
yeah,
we assume. And they yelled, "Some pig!" at Herman. And we all froze. Because like, how dare they? But also,
it's really funny.
He kind of looks like a little hog.
Yeah. It's the funniest thing that's ever happened.
Especially because we used to call him our little piggy or little hog. Sometimes he makes little nose noises, and you know.
He already lies sideways. He's like a little hog.
But that, and one time we were walking him, and he's black and white. If you haven't seen him on the video before, he's a black and white corgi with a tail, but bigger than a corgi. He's probably got some sheepdog in there. I don't know. He's a rescue. Mm-hmm. He's a Herman. Mm-hmm. And we were walking him near the BART station, and a little girl walked by with her mom, and that's how you can tell this area is no longer rural, because she went, "Is that a cow?" He's a corgi. He's got corgi legs, so they're about 3 inches.
Yeah, not very tall.
Not very tall.
Small cow.
I was like, it's a very little cow.
Uh-huh. Just the littlest cow.
He's the littlest cow. He's our little moo bear.
Poor guy gets no respect.
But yes, so some pig is
Charlotte's
Charlotte's Web. I'm pretty sure.
Got
She
it.
writes it in the web above him.
Oh. I don't remember anything about Charlotte's Web other than
It's so fucking sad.
because Charlotte doesn't make it.
Yeah, she dies at the end, but she saves him.
Now I'm seeing what they're doing with this show. The friends gather at the Radley funeral.
Unfortunately, I don't think it saves anybody.
The friends gather at the Radley post-funeral. Aria is planning on leaving to go back to work that night, but the others are all staying. Spencer notices Sarah checking in and says the cops should be talking to her. Friends haven't told anyone what they did to Sarah, and supposedly she forgot. Sarah got her sentence reduced because she said she had Stockholm Syndrome, which is certifiably fake, just in case anybody's wondering. Aria goes to leave, and Hannah goes to walk her to her car. Hannah said she knows that Aria left the hotel the night Charlotte was killed and asked where Aria went. Hannah got up at 3 a.m. for water and saw her leave. And then Aria's like, I just went down to my car. And Hannah's like, you were gone a long time. Aria's like, you were so drunk you threw up in a bathtub. She's like, that was Emily. I wasn't that drunk. And Aria's like, I didn't kill Charlotte. So there's nothing to say, and leaves for the flight. Spencer comes home and sees Caleb and Veronica huddled around a laptop. Bloggers are linking the friends to Charlotte's murder. Spencer says she shouldn't go with Veronica to her banquet because she'll be a distraction. Caleb found a post on Rosewood Politico, which is a website, that supposedly originated the rumors. Veronica, I like that Politico spun up a Rosewood
It's a little Rosewood branch.
Veronica agrees that Spencer shouldn't come with. Caleb promises Spencer to combat the blogs on socials, and Spencer says she's glad that he's here, and he's like, me too. We just keep getting that reiterated. Allie is at the police station and sees Sarah walk in with an officer. Allison meets with Lorenzo. Sarah's burns on her hands limits the use of them, so they're taking her off the suspect list. Charlotte's neck was broken and she was hit in the head before she fell from the tower. Allison doesn't believe the friends have anything to do with Charlotte's death. Emily schedules something for the morning, and Pam invites Emily to go see... We don't know what it is, so the something is... I don't know. Pam invites Emily to go see Wayne's grave and says Emily hasn't been to see it at all. And Emily's like, Allison needs me all day, or all day tomorrow. I can't. Hannah comes to her suite and finds her boyfriend Jordan, who's Australian? ? Jordan's uncle is letting them have their estate in the Hamptons for the wedding. Hannah is dragging her feet, and he offers his mom's lawyer to talk to the cops for her if this is about all the Charlotte business. Aria visits Fitz at his apartment. She says, we didn't see each other the night Charlotte was killed. Do you understand? And he's like, yeah, whatever. I'm just sad.
I'm my Hemingway, or I'm just drinking in my bathrobe.
I'm so sad all the time. How could they take my woman? At the Hollis Medical Center, Emily gets her blood drawn. She's getting treatments for something. We don't know what. Then the nurse says she should get all of her treatments in one place, so she needs to, stay in town. Hannah and Spencer visit Allison. She tells them Sarah's no longer on the suspect list, and Allison thinks Aria left early because she was angry with Charlotte. Allison spoke to Byron, and Aria left town one day earlier than planned. Allison, just being a busybody, aren't you? Allison invites them to dinner and says Emily, Caleb, and Jordan too, and Hannah looks put off by this. Aria ignores a call from Allison at work. The staff goes in for a meeting, and Aria kisses the guy next to her. This must be Liam.
Aria loves an inappropriate relationship.
If you want a relationship that can be out in the open, Aria doesn't want it. It's got to be secret and at an inappropriate place.
Though, you can, depending on your workplace policy, you can date your coworkers. You just have to do it right.
Yeah, but Aria doesn't want that.
No.
She wants to. She's like, I'm not going to go through all those hoops. I'd rather be secret because that's fun. If it's out in the open, then I'm not going to like this guy. Doesn't work for me. Healthy relationship. Get out of here.
I miss Jake.
Me too. Wasn't right for Aria. She's like, I don't know how I could... What would be inappropriate about me seeing a karate instructor? Oh, well.
And he can boot scoot.
Boy, he can boot scoot. Maybe just age. We didn't know how old Jake was, but he did have his own karate studio. So she maybe had something there. He asks how Fitz was, and Aria says he's thinking of giving back his advance. Emily goes to pay with her credit, she goes to pay for parking with her credit card, but it isn't working. Remember Sabrina, the baker girl that hooked up Spencer with her weed? Well, she rounds the corner and helps Emily pay for parking. She notices Emily is distressed, but Emily's like, no, it's okay. Jordan and Hannah walk in downtown Rosewood. Jordan picks up that Hannah doesn't want to go to dinner because Caleb will be there and promises they'll go back to New York afterwards. Spencer's worried about her public profile and tells Caleb about writing a paper her sophomore year of college on a woman that was killed on her wedding night, and worries that someone might dig that up and make her look bad. Caleb's like, wait, what was this for? Caleb tells her not to worry, and it's all a coincidence. Spencer says, I don't think the police will believe that. Aria's boss, Jillian, is pissed that Fitz is going to give the advance back and wants another book from him. She's like, okay, Liam, then you go talk to Fitz and get him to write a book. Liam stands up for Aria, but Jillian is unconvinced. Emily sees Sabrina in the brew. Sabrina manages the place now. Fitz and Nicole went to Columbia where things went bad. And so Sabrina took over. Emily asks Sabrina not to say anything about seeing her outside the medical center today, and Sabrina says she won't. She then stops Emily and says, I had cancer a few years back and didn't want to tell people that I knew at the time, but I learned that I needed support from people. Which you then pointed out, it's like, oh, she had a reason for the weed. It's like, oh, god damn it, this show.
That's my assumption. I don't. They say a few years back with
it seems like that's a direct line.
Yeah.
Again, this is the paving over. Wow, people might not like that she was like dealing pot, and she's going to be a romantic.
She wasn't dealing because she did not sell.
Right.
She was sharing.
But it's like she's going to
be
a
minor. But well, no, Spencer was 18. But I think things weren't. It wasn't legalized yet, right?
No, not yet. And it wouldn't have been in Pennsylvania anyway. But I guess they film in LA, so it doesn't really matter.
I'm sorry, but we're in Burbank right now.
Yeah. If it is that way, then it's just another thing of like, well, she's going to be a romantic interest now, so we're just going to pave that over.
Oh, you think she's going to be a romantic interest for Emily?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Now someone gets to take care of Emily. But learn that she needed support from people. Emily's like, I'm fine, and I don't need to give my mom something else to worry about. Dinner at Allison's has arrived. Jordan and Caleb are awkwardly introduced, and then Jordan's like, why don't you help me, Caleb, in bringing in the food? Allison keeps bringing up that Aria isn't around and that she's not returning her calls. Again, Allison is very mom-coded right now. She freaks out when Spencer goes to move a bouquet because they refer to Charlotte. Aria worries about Jillian, and Liam asks what's going on with her and Fitz. Aria's like, Fitz is not the same person he was when you met him on tour 2 years ago, but like I'll be able to convince Jillian to take it, I'll convince Jillian that I can take the Fitz project of getting him to write a book back over. My notes, I wrote it weird, so. Hannah asks Emily about her work at the Institute, and Emily again lies and covers about this. Spencer Jordan dressed the table, and Spencer says she's not seeing Caleb. She barely sees, like, anybody. She's not seeing anybody right now. Like, who's Caleb?
No. She was saying she doesn't see anyone, but out of all the people she doesn't see, she sees Caleb the most.
Okay, that makes more sense. Because my notes again.
She's like, oh, he's like, oh, do you see Caleb a lot? And she's like, I don't see anyone a lot, but of all the people I don't see, I see Caleb the most.
Who's Caleb again? But she says they got reunited randomly in Madrid. Caleb rounds a corner into the closet and finds Hannah looking for a wine opener. Hannah's like,
if I found you in a closet with your ex, I'd be like, no.
That's fair. Hannah says that when he left for Europe, she wanted to focus on her career and she wasn't looking for a relationship. He's like, it's okay. You seem happy. And she says, I am. Allison gets a call from Lorenzo, and it's confirmed that Charlotte was killed around 4 a.m. Things get awkward at the table, so Mama Allison has them say grace. Hannah has to hold hands with Caleb and Jordan.
I love that.
Gives a passive-aggressive grace on catching Allison's killer. He or she.
Charlotte's killer,
sorry. Spencer and Hannah catch up privately in the closet, and Hannah tells her Aria left the room that night. Spencer says there's surveillance cameras in the lobby of the hotel, and Hannah's like, I don't do stuff like that anymore, but Spencer pushes her that they have to go, look into this. Emily and Pam are at the brew. Pam sees Emily's appointment reminder at Hollis Med Center. Emily says, it's actually an interview. I want to go to grad school there. And Pam gets all excited. I'm applying for grad school there. And Pam gets all excited. And Emily's like, well, I don't know. I'm applying to a lot of places. Pam tells her Wayne left her all that money so that she can go to school and use loans for the rest. And Emily sees Aria walk upstairs to Fitz's. Fitz answered the door to Aria. She tells him they won't take back the advance. They love the first book. Fitz says it made them money, and but they won't love the follow-up. He shows her a USB drive that has the in-progress book, and she grabs it. She asks where he went the night Charlotte died after they met each other, and he's like, I just went home. Spencer and Caleb reunited 3 years ago in Madrid, and they reminisce on how nice it was. Veronica asks Caleb to stick around. Caleb tells Spencer that Veronica asked him to stick around to help with the campaign, and Spencer's like, I think it's a great idea. Hannah texts Spencer that she has the keys to the surveillance room. Spencer and Emily are looking at the footage, the security camera footage from the night, and they see Aria meet Fitz in the lobby. Spencer arrives late. They left. Aria and Fitz then leave together, and then Aria came back alone at 4:20. Nice. Emily offers to erase the video, and Hannah says, we're not in high school. We're going to talk to Aria about this. Aria comes home to her house in Rosewood and is ambushed by the other 3 friends. She tells them about what happened, and we get a flashback. Aria meets Fitz. She called him and said she couldn't sleep and is turning around what she said to the judge. Aria thought if just one person had said no about Charlotte getting out, that she wouldn't have gotten out. And Fitz thought the same thing. They try to go out at night to grab a drink, but can't find anything open downtown because it's too late. She goes to get a cab, and they then spot Charlotte arrive at the church in Allison's car, and she goes inside. Fitz is like, this is a dark world where people like Nicole disappear and Charlotte goes free. Fitz puts Aria in a cab and sends her off. In the present, Aria says how angry Fitz was, and she knows Fitz was lying about going home. Spencer says it's not a leap to think that Fitz killed Charlotte. I think I told him how to do it. He was out on his book tour, and Spencer told him about the case she wrote about. Truly just the obsessive thoughts coming back around. Hannah says if the police find out, it'll look like you were involved too, Aria. Aria says no one can see the security footage. Spencer shows Veronica the paper she wrote, and Veronica's like, I'm not worried about this at all. Caleb already spread a story about how you were bullied on social, so we're all good. We'll get ahead of any bad press. Emily visits Wayne's grave and tells him about losing her scholarship for failing 2 classes and says she just couldn't go back to school. Pam was a mess the summer he died, so she just couldn't tell her the truth. She then sees Sarah visiting a grave. Aria looks up news stories on Fitz's fellow coworkers in Colombia. Nicole is missing, but there's a few others that are confirmed dead. Aria ignores a call from Liam. Hannah looks at the security footage of Aria and deletes it. As she goes back to her bed, she finds a wedding experiences pamphlet on her pillow that Jordan must have left while she was asleep. Well, he's sleeping? I don't know. Allison invites Lorenzo over and says she thinks that her friends actually could have been involved in Charlotte's murder. Someone leaves flowers on the fresh plot for Charlotte, and a driver opens up a black car as they climb in. The end.
Okay. Where did Aria go? Why won't she tell the girls? We kind of know where she went, but why wouldn't she just tell them?
I have no idea. I guess that she was around with Fitz? Why wouldn't you just tell? That was very innocent. I guess she didn't want Fitz to look bad. She's like, I know that Fitz looks pretty bad here. I guess that'd be my guess. Is her not wanting to point the finger at Fitz.
Why meet up with Fitz? She was just like, oh, I can't sleep. She's drunk. She's drunk. She was drunk. And you know how you know she was drunk? Because it's 4 a.m. and she goes, I want pizza. Uh-huh. And I, in that moment, said, I have never related to a character on television more. Because
Aria
if you got me drunk, especially from ages 22, hell, if I was drunk now, probably.
Yeah.
You know what my mind always goes to? I want pizza. There is not a day I have drank that I have not wanted pizza. I mean, think about it. Have you ever... There's days I don't drink that I want pizza too. She's got a pizza problem. But I was just like, yeah, girlie. There's nothing better than when you're tipsy in the middle of the night and you're like, I need a pizza. And then you get a nice, cheesy, greasy pizza.
Yeah. That's good stuff.
That's good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Right. And they don't get nothing.
Yeah, and she doesn't even get her pizza. Instead, she's at the risk of looking like she committed a felony.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe she shouldn't have stepped out. Oh, but why did she call Fitz?
Mm-hmm.
She, patron saint of lost causes, I guess. She just always loves going back to it. Yeah. She loves going back to Fitz. Him. Nope.
Because she's got a boyfriend. Won't you think he'd be mad that she was calling meeting?
And he's a secret boyfriend. It ticks all her boxes.
Well, and Liam doesn't know that she dated Fitz.
Right.
No one knows that she dated Fitz. That was also another thing I wanted to bring up is this idea that he was her teacher.
Uh-huh. Oh, right.
He was her teacher.
Yeah, as they talk about it, the publishing company she works for.
So it's they acknowledge the fact that this relationship would be viewed as inappropriate in the public. And they're like, but we love it on the show.
I mean, the runaway train, they couldn't stop it. And yeah.
But they didn't just make it so they could have normalized it. They could have said, oh, it's her ex-boyfriend. She dated him after, whatever.
Oh, right. But why she
But
now is not saying anything about it?
He's only her former teacher. He is not her ex-boyfriend. He is not someone she was close to.
So I was wondering also if that's... Oh, right. Yeah. So it is the inappropriate thing.
Yeah, you would think that she... Like, if not, you'd be like, oh my gosh, I know him so well that, like, I can tell you exactly what he's thinking,
Would it... Yeah. Because would a publishing company care if she was recommending her ex-boyfriend for, like, to, like, submit his book there and things? That'd be the only
I don't think
thing.
she signed him because his book would have come out before she was working. Because his book was 2 years ago.
But do we know that she would? I guess
She would have been in college.
Yeah, but she was on tour with them.
Maybe she's interning, but like she wouldn't have signed the book.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but and then they have her like.
I'm assuming his agent or like the publishing company. I guess the publishing company is that woman,
right?
And then like the rest of them are just like minions. They're just like. They each have their responsibilities, but at the end of the day, they don't make the decisions.
Yeah, totally.
What will Aria do with Fitz's book? Because that's what she's looking through on her computer with all the things of Nicole and stuff, like the flash drive has. Like,
it's his book.
It's his research and stuff, or his book.
I feel like it's gonna do the classic thing where she's gonna submit it to the publishing company and then feel bad about it, and then try and stop
submit it as is.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's gonna hand it over to him,
just like as is. Like this is what he's got. Okay.
Yeah. And then it's gonna be like, oh crap, I shouldn't have done that. Oh no, I feel bad. I gotta correct this mistake.
Okay.
I've seen this happen a million times. This is what's gonna happen.
Did Ezra hurt Cece?
No, I don't think so. But I think he might have like followed her a little bit. I think he probably like saw like who she met up with, and then was like, I'm gonna like try and like do something about it, but then doesn't. Like gets himself righted. I don't think we're
Or do you
actually
think he's
gonna
like too drunk?
Oh no!
Do you think he remembers?
Yes.
Okay.
Because when he goes like, "Oh, I just went home," I think he knows full and well what he did. Because I don't think he's that drunk. I mean, he has been drinking. That's kind of like the vibe. Is he's just kind of like drinking all day. We don't see it, but I assume that it's a fake out to make us think that Fitz did something.
Okay.
I'm like, but I guess we are working on an accelerated timeline because we only got season and a half left, but. Yeah, I don't think. I feel like it's too early to start putting blood on people's hands, especially for a big character like Fitz.
What is Sarah Harvey's angle in all of this?
Especially the grave. Like, whose grave is she visiting?
Cece's, I thought.
Oh, is that Cece's grave?
I thought it was Charlotte's grave. Yeah.
Oh, right, because it's close by.
And Pam tells us that the grave is near Wayne's.
Thank you. That makes sense. Maybe potentially being contacted by the other new A and then working with them on getting after the girls because she owes them revenge
from the burn.
Yeah,
the hand burns.
Whatever the hell that is. I think she's playing a long con to get back after him. Yeah.
We think
bananas.
Emily still has the money from Wayne?
No. It definitely seemed like that was setting up that she's like, well, I don't have that money. Or she's using it instead of for school for whatever the treatments are. And that's like, if her card is being declined, then I don't think she does, actually.
Do we think anything will come of Spencer's paper? Is this Chekhov's paper?
I guess, but it does seem like something that it's like, Spencer, it's okay. Like, it's not going to come up. It'll be all right. Maybe it'll be like something else that actually comes up and Spencer's like looking at the wrong thing. I would actually go for that. That Spencer gets caught up worried about a specific paper and then it ends up being like something else that she was distracted by when she was like caught up on the loose connections of this paper and ramifications it would have. Because it is very like anxious thought of like, oh no, I don't really like this paper. Or I felt weird about like how obsessive I got like doing this paper, so that makes me feel weird, and I have like weird associations with it. So
and I sent it to Ezra.
Oh, right, because he like edited it.
She sent it to him
right,
because he was
never mind.
working on potentially working on a mystery.
Right, I
and so
forgot.
she sent him the case
Yes.
and the information.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. I think I told him how to kill her.
Why is Hannah not excitedly planning her wedding?
She's not over Caleb. She's like, this guy's nice. He has money. Probably dresses nice, I'd assume. But, I think she's still got that flame. She's like, still got the Caleb flame.
That's fair.
They're going to work it out.
My other dream for you with this, not those are all my questions for this, is eventually we're going to start getting more backstory on who our RA is. Also, like, we're going to get more Charlotte lore. We're going to get a lot of lore.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to try to map together how this is going to all work. Like, my dream is like it's like a web, and it's like what are the connections?
Madam Web.
There you go. Because, like, we already know that there are, like, natural connections within that because you have the De Laurentiis Hastings family tree.
Right.
So then it's like, okay, how does the rest of this work?
Right.
And what does that mean? And who does that imply is where and what and how?
And who?
Because there's like a couple twists in that knowing what you know, I still don't know if you would be able to like
piece it all together.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's as good a segue as any, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Let us step into... New Theory Corner.
Oh,
I mean, we had a time jump, so things have changed here at Theory
you've
Corner.
been kicked off the force.
Yeah, we're a little bit... Exactly. We've hit a wall.
Is that a moose on the wall or a deer?
That's a deer. Because I knew that before you asked that question, and I looked at the screen being like, moose. Things are a little bit more, run down. We're having a harder time, but we're still on the case, right?
We have Jenna's car at the top. Is it not a convertible? I can't tell from here.
I don't know if anybody else can tell. We're gonna say yes. It's the Mustang. It's like it kind of looks like the Mercury.
The Mercury?
Yeah, that's the car your mom has.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like that. But that's not what we're here to solve. We already know what car she has. We're here to solve Charlotte's murder. These are always tough, right at the top of the season, of the mystery, because it's like, damn.
Why don't you tell me who you don't think it is? Like, who's their red herring?
Oh, I don't think it's Fitz. And you're like, yeah, they really do a good job in these early stuff, making Aria seem like it could potentially be it.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's very shady, and she immediately goes to Fitz and is like, you didn't see anything, remember? So, and, Allison being like, she's not around. I can't believe Aria's not here. Wow, Lord, hope you get the person who killed Charlotte, he or she. It's like, my God.
I wondered with all of that when I was watching this in real time, if Allison was involved. Like if Allison already knew and was like playing them.
Playing that. I could see that.
Because I wanted her to be Allison.
Right. Yeah, I just don't. Yeah, exactly. She definitely seems like conservative wine mom now. And that's where it's like, shame Aria couldn't come to dinner. That like kind of like passive aggressive thing. And then going to the police. Get out of here. Being like, I think my friends could be involved.
Yeah, but you stole his badge once, Allison, to get into the...
Yeah. And that's also when you were on the downslope of not being especially exciting anymore. I don't like it. Don't be a snitch that way. And you're pulling at straws. Anyway, we're going to pull out some straws as well. So I think whatever happened with Cece being killed was related to the next A probably visiting her, like wanting to like take over the game, being and Cece wanting nothing to do with it. I think we're gonna get we're probably. I mean, I assume we're gonna get all sorts of flashbacks. I think it's just we all know it's a narrative dead end when she gets murdered, which is stupid. That and so Cece wants nothing to do with that, but this person keeps coming around and kind of pushing them on it and like pushing them for information. And then eventually, when like Cece goes out, Cece gets contacted by them, goes and visits them, and gets killed. Could be by Sarah Harvey, who's working with the New A. Could be the New A. Or other people that we don't know yet. But it is like, it seems like since we're like really coming up at the end, that like anything is possible for like who could be involved. If they really wanted to, they could be like like Aria being A isn't so in my mind outlandish anymore because we're coming up at the end.
No, yeah, I remember watching this and being like, oh, finally. They're gonna finally make Aria A. Which I guess like the other thing is like you don't know too, because you only know that final reveal. You don't know who else was involved. You don't know how else was involved, like what they do, who does what.
I know none of that yet.
You don't even know their name.
No, I don't.
Thank God you remember nothing I told you, because I literally remember being like, and they're blah blah blah, and they're blah blah blah, and the blah blah blah, and this and that, and the
just laying it all out for me.
Yeah, I was like, tell me if this makes any fucking sense to you.
It's so funny.
Having an aneurysm over here.
That's all we have right now because A's not back around. There's just Cece's murder and that she was killed in the middle of the night between like closer to 4 a.m.
And Aria and Ezra were out for a nighttime stroll.
Because they're the first person to point at, I'm always just like, well, it's not them. Those are the first person we're pointing at. So I think there's, of course, actually the other Chekhov's gun in this is Hannah erasing the footage. That's going to be, of course, the big thing that comes back around. When it seems like maybe something else happened in the lobby that they missed and that they like happened to erase. I don't know. So, but yeah, a light theory corner because we don't have really much to go on. It's not a lot. It's a lot of setup in these episodes, which is interesting, but just not as much to talk about.
There you go.
All right, we'll see you all next time. Goodbye.
Final thoughts?
It is exciting. I think a time jump's always exciting. There's some strange decisions being made. But we'll see. So,
all right.
Cautiously optimistic that this will go in wild directions before the end of the show in ways that I'll enjoy. And also grab my head about, but maybe they'll just be outlandish enough that it'll be fun.
Get ready for your Psyduck pose.
Practicing. Anyways, you can find this podcast on all your audio podcast platforms of choice at Dead Ends. You can also find us on YouTube at dead_ends. You can also send us emails if you'd like to deadendspcast@gmail.com. Any questions and things. Oh, also, as we kind of pull into the ending here, if you have things that you like, topics and recaps that you want us to cover like on the final episode, you've got a ways, but start thinking about what you think would be fun for us to like review or think back on.
Yeah.
And you can also just post a comment on YouTube. Talk to lots of people there. It's great.
Yeah.
So please do. That's it. We're still here. Gonna find out everything.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Bye-bye.